So, oh, this is such an evil, corrupt, un-Islamic statement from Pakistani and Somali culture, or whatever culture, other cultures she pointed to. Oh, this is so disgraceful. Look at the misogyny. It has nothing to do with Islam. This is how she wants to portray it. But let's think about the statement for a second.
Our Afghan sisters will say, and you have to help me with the wording here, that women should either be home, kur, yeah, or what? Or in the grave. Kur. So you know the statement. Nonsense.
Nonsense.
Okay. When I was younger, I think I would have been a lot more careful and PC and careful with my wording. And I think after all the years of therapy that I've done and counseling of families and people, this is cultural nonsense.
Oh my God. Can you imagine such a person like counseling your family? Like if you're, a husband and you go to her for counseling for your marriage, yeah, expect divorce. Expect you're going to get really done over in divorce court. I feel sorry for those who go to her for counseling, but that's a very scary statement. These cultural statements, when they say, okay, from your father's home to your husband's home, from your husband's home to the grave, a woman should be either at home or in her grave. Like this is hyperbole. This is hyperbole. It doesn't mean literally. They're not saying that women cannot go out. Women cannot go outside of the home. Obviously, there are many reasons, legitimate reasons for a woman to leave the home. And maybe we need to stop here before she spews more of this garbage to clarify this issue. Because she's arguing a straw man, basically. She's arguing a straw man, this idea that, oh, well, these backwards cultural Muslims just want to lock the women up in the house and that's it. This is a misportrayal of traditional Islamic societies and traditional Islam. And it's known, like the most hardcore conservative Orthodox Muslims know that women can go out for legitimate reasons. And this is clear in the Sunnah. When we look at the wives of the Prophet ﷺ and the Sahabiyat, they would leave the house for legitimate reasons. I mentioned some of them, like going to the masjid, going to the mosque to pray. This is allowed according to the majority of the schools of thought. You also have Hajj. So you can't do Hajj in your home. You can't do Umrah in your home. You have to leave your home to do those things. So going for Eid prayers, for example, these are things that women can leave their house for. They can leave their house to visit family, their maharim, their kith and kin they can visit, keep good ties of kinship with them. They can go out for needs that they have. They can go out for even travel as long as they have a mahram with them. So that's leaving the house. She can move around in her own city or locality. Maybe she wants to go and buy something. Maybe she has a meeting. Maybe she has to take care of some kind of a business that she has. Maybe she has to take care of a family member or a friend that she has. Maybe she wants to go visit a sick person. Maybe she wants to go and do some charity. These are all legitimate things. But there are conditions, of course. She has to go with hijab, proper hijab. She has to avoid mixing with the opposite sex unnecessarily. She has to get permission from her husband or her father or her wali. These are the conditions. But she can, of course, she can go and do the things that she needs to do. Nowhere in Islam do we have this understanding that a woman is locked up in her house. This is not correct. And, these are the Islamically legitimate needs. And there could be others I didn't mention. And the proof, there's a lot of proof that shows this. If you're not familiar with the seerah and you don't know that the mothers of the believers, that they did go outside of their home for different purposes, let me give you some other proof. So in Sahih Bukhari and Muslim, we have this report that Ibn Umar radiallahu anhuma reported that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if the wife of any of you asks for permission to go to the mosque, do not stop her. Look at this hadith. If the wife of any of you asks for permission to go to the mosque, don't stop her. So what a lot of feminists will point out is like, oh, see this hadith, the Prophet ﷺ is telling, all women should just go to the masjid whenever they want. That's not what this hadith says. This hadith says she asked for permission. So what this proves is that the wife needs to ask for permission from her husband or her wali before leaving the house. She needs to ask explicitly for permission, or it's like tacit, like it's tacitly known that, okay, she regularly goes for this prayer, Isha prayer or Fajr prayer, or she regularly goes on Mondays to the grocery store or what have you. It's known, like tacitly, she doesn't have to ask every single time. It's just tacitly, he approves of it. It's not like he says, no, I do not want you going to this specific place, and then she deliberately disobeys him because I can do whatever I want. I'm a strong, independent woman. Like that's not allowed in Islam. That's not allowed. It's not allowed for the wife. And this is a big problem for some of these Muslim women who haven't really been educated on the basics of Islam. But if you leave the house without your husband's permission, then this is a sinful thing. And I'm not saying that he has the right to harm you if you do that, but you have sinned. You have committed a sin against him because you have violated his rights, the right that he has over you. You don't have the right to tell him not to go out of the house, but he does have the right to tell you not to go out of the house. Now, it needs to be legitimate, of course. He can't just try to tyrannize you and say, yeah, you can't leave. You can't see your parents. You can't see your relatives. He can't forbid you from that. And so everything has to be in balance. But we have to understand the base ruling, the default ruling here. And the default ruling is that, yeah, all else being equal, stay in the house, because that's the primary form of hijab. That's the primary form of hijab for women, is the home itself. That is the main covering of women, is their home. And that's established in this ayah of the Quran that she was reading in Surah Al-Ahzab, verse 33.